can just stop before my moment watching. His Excellency, Party Leader of the United Democratic Party, today paid a visit to KMC to see for himself the first-hand knowledge about the KMC's projects. The mayor and his deputy will be receiving him at the KMC.
Morning, Uncle. It's a great honor to meet you. I know, this is amazing. Alhamdulillah, bismillah. This is Mao. We have a sister sitting in Mao. Yes. We have Abdullah. Anti your mom is frequent. Wow. No, okay. Oh, really? I think you took some rice there. So
no, that was before the COVID time. Before the starting
right. Interesting. You've never been here.
I think I did 2 years ago when I didn't pay my rent.
Well, my uncle is here.
I had to appear in the court.
I think his uncle came in second and he had compliment. No. These are when you town hall.
Okay, I thought it was this.
After we were both taken.
Very nice.
Almost
KMC is very rich.
I
wasn't expecting such comfortable offices,
So I always tease that the best thing Young Popoli has done here is this window. This window.
I can see
You can
everybody.
see all the way to the gate. So you can see everything when you sit here. People coming in, people going out. So the only unfortunate thing is you cannot escape because there's one gate. When protesters come here, I have to deal with them. We've had about 5 protests here. My first week. Yes. So my first week in office was Serakunda Market.
That's when they dumped this stuff?
No, that was before. So Serakunda Market, they were protesting against the break-ins at the market. There was a series of break-ins. So I had to deal with a lot of boys. Yeah, but it ended.
That was a baptism of fire.
Yes. The last protest was DM's Alcalo issue.
And also the market vendors.
No, this was Latikunda and Alcalo content. I think there was a protest this year about another
about vendors around Tipagara.
That one I was in. Last week there was a small protest, but it was in where fencing the Bakote Dome side. So the shortcut the community used to get to the main highway, sealed that up. So that's how they passed through to start all these fires. But we explained it. Local government is hot.
Exercise of democratic rights.
You have to do them for it.
It's a big
And it's complex.
As long as they remain peaceful, it's fine. Opportunity also to know what's going on
Yes.
through other channels.
Yes. So the issue is you have to just invite them. So a lot of them they come here for confrontation.
Once you calm them down,
Did you hear the conversation?
No.
Are you sure?
No.
So if we can go in, I can give you a brief summary of everything. Hey, come on, Paco. This is one. You have so many gadgets. Huh? Want to chair? Okay. I don't want to see. Nuru. Yes, ma'am. I hope the it's a real honor to host you. Overdue. Executive members to KMC, about our deputy mayor. So I just want to give you maybe a 10-15 minute summary of the council and our projects and our challenges. So the council is made up of 4 major installations as the headquarters. Of course, this is the main administrative building, and we'll go there to services and plan. Trucks are parked, and where our new bus service will be running out of once it starts. We also have where we also call the multi-purpose by Canifing. It is the municipal compliance department, so it's mainly the enforcement building. So all the enforcement agencies are there. And the 4th major installment we have various place today, so you can see this. KMC has 19 parks, 3 are well built. Serakunda, 8, 2 of which are skill centers, which is Abu, 1 markets, 3 are major markets. The 3 major markets are Serakunda market. We have Bakote fish market. We have 19 elected nominated councillors and the first disabled councillor in history who's representing people of different We have 19 ward offices that we opened during our tenure. So these 19 ward offices, and they are fully retrofitted with, and just last week we have installed internet connection in offices. Project and the councillor. Also, 2 years back, we have disbursing an amount of $200,000 annually to them to come. In terms of staff numbers, in 27 in council, now we have recruited 3 during our 3 years in office. 4 of those 170 belong to them. 3 are added and other 26 are miscellaneous. In our first year in office, thankfully the establishment committees here conducted a staff audit to see the staff city gaps, issues such as ghost workers, etc. Effect by the establishment committee and also a staff policy. And we've established the gaps and they have mostly been filled to date. Council has 9 standing committees which are extremely effective. Everyone is allowed recommendations and updates. Just yesterday we had a general council. 7 committee chairpersons updated the council and brought about recommendations. Sister cities, Madison City Council. Sorry, Madison City Council, yes. In Senegal, we have Mbao and Jingen, called actually supporting our business. We have Freetown City Council, which is recent in the sub-region. We have a Hungarian council called, and another one in the US called Newcastle. Will be for the first time. Because of the city project, when project 100 million. So this for our time, etc. For our time, but it wasn't paid. Council did not have the money to pay. So when we came into office, we paid 10% counterpart contribution, which is $10 million. City Hall, which you see, Bundum Maternity Building, road, Latri, which challenges coming when there was no waste collection. The Mbalit project is worth $140 million. It is a liability that comes. So there's 25 brand new trucks and we charge a minimum fee of $10 per household per bag for collection. To date, we have paid back $70 million. $70 million 2022. This year we will pay another. So we have added the project, which of the Mbalit project, so sit on that committee as well. They have brought about a digital revenue collection system Now, instead of people buying coupons, they have handheld devices, and every councillor has the ability on their telephone to see in their ward. They also have the capability to see how many tickets were sold as far as the project started to date, and what collector. We can see how well the project is doing. In terms of revenue, in 2017, when we took office, council had a revenue of 125 million in 2017. That's the year before we took office. That revenue was the highest council ever achieved in their history. In 2018, because of a lot of measures, both the councillors and myself, to plug the leakages and to demand more of the collectors, the revenue jumped to 140 million in 2018. In 2019, it further jumped to 179 million. In 2020, last year, it jumped to 240 million, which was double the amount we received. This year, we budget to get to 300 million. If we achieve it, KMC will be having more revenue than all the other councils combined. In terms of municipal street cleaning, Deputy Mayor is working on a project called the Cleanest Ward Competition to try and get communities to be part of cleaning their area, and the reward would be things like solar lights, etc. There's also, we've added to our fleet tricycles, about 12 of them, which are powered by battery powered. They are plugged and charged, and they are also boosting our street cleaning capacity. In terms of other projects we're embarking on, KMC is planning to start the first ever urban bus transport system. We are calling it the Carnifing Municipal Transport Company, called the KMT. It is already set up with its own board of directors who are working independently sort of the council to come up with this bus service. Unfortunately, COVID gave us some setbacks. Our first shareholder who we had could not come up with the funds, so we are trying to float those shares to get other shareholders on board. In terms of grants, KMC, since we took office, have $1.6 million in grants that are approved or in progress being implemented, and we have applied for $3.7 million worth of grants, or euros, sorry. One of the grants that were approved was called the Waste Aid Grant. It's about composting. It is taking market waste and turning it to composting for gardens, and that project has started. We also have applied for an EU grant of 3 million euros. We applied for it in 2019, same as Banjul. We did not make it because we did not have a sister city, but we are glad to announce that we have Peterborough City Council supporting us, and we have just passed the first stage, and hopefully in August we will get indication whether it's been approved or not. But that 3 million euro grant will go towards building the first municipal public library, and also another $1 million will enhance our waste management capacity, and the other one will go towards parks and recreation. We have also got an approval of a $100,000 grant to build a skate park at the buffer zone through the UN Accelerator. We have also got a grant from Barcelona Metropolitan Municipality of 60,000 euros to build the Yafatu Njai market to make it a COVID compliant market. We have a PSUP grant that is going towards Igbo Town, enhancing the market there and some of the issues they have within the Igbo Town ward. That is through the central government. So the councils of Birkama and Banjul are all beneficiaries towards that project. So it was a joint application. We have the UN at 75 grant, which is $80,000, is to rehabilitate the Kotu Botanical Garden. We have the Bakau Community Center grant, which is about $60,000, is to rebuild the Bakau Community Center. I think when we went there in the Jaliba, where we were sitting was the foundation. And the final grant was the BMZ project grant, which is 800,000 euros through the German government to enhance the Bakote dump site. It's the one we inaugurated just a few weeks back. In terms of construction projects, we have the buffer zone fence, which we are rehabilitating. We are rehabilitating our annex. You will see it today. The annex was always muddy every rainy season. We have built a concrete driveway and concrete parking. We are also working on the force addressing system in the municipality, and we've opened a GIS office, and is to bring a house number to every house and a street name to every street. So this project is well on the way, and the GIS office is in operation. In terms of Bakote dump site, we have fully fenced the Bakote dump site at our own expense of $10 million. It is a 1.8 kilometer long fence, 2.5 meters tall, and that is to keep away all the people from entering and to keep the hazards within. In terms of market construction, we've engaged in a market PPP to build 8 new markets around the municipality. The first, which is Latrikunda Sabiji, meaning we are expanding that market, should start within the first week. Councillor of Bakote is the chairman of the market committee. We are also working on building the Tipagaras market through a financing scheme. The Tipagaras market, or the Bakote fish market, has an independent board led by Mamadou Diallo. And they are working on expanding the market. This year we have renovated the Bakau market. We have built the Talinding Jilifitikunda market, which we have opened last week. We have renovated the Latrikunda German market. Every year we engage in what we call disaster mitigation. Of course, KMC is a floodplain area. We have the swampland on one area, and we have the Atlantic Ocean on the other area. So in partnership with NDMA, we do excavate the canal to ensure that the water can flow. They provide the machinery, we pay for all the operations. We also engage in drain clearing. You may see the exercises time to time. It is not ideal. It's not a long-term solution, but it does mitigate flood risk. In terms of youth, we are working on opening a youth community center. The youth councillor has initiated a project called Goal for KM, putting goalposts all around the parks in the municipality. He's also working on a tuk-tuk initiative, giving youths these tuk-tuk taxis as a way to have a sustainable way of life. We are working on a KMC symposium to try and get diplomats and to try and get central government to try and get all stakeholders to buy into our vision of what we want KMC to be. In terms of enforcement, we are working on tow trucks to help mitigate all the mechanic garages, etc., within the community. But central government has intervened and said they are going to do it themselves. So we are complementing their efforts and finding out how effective they will be before we take our own initiative. I think now we can move to some of youth initiatives. Still, we initiated what we call the $1 million in Mayor's Challenge to come up with innovative businesses during the time of COVID. We did it in partnership with YEP. The Youth Council also has come up with a $20 million revolving fund to give small loans to youth businesses. We are also doing a lot of contracting to youths. The buffer zone fence is being built by youth masoners called CODEM. They are mostly all young people who have come together to form a masoners group. So we've used them for many projects, including rebuilding drains and now the buffer zone fence. And that contract was about $1 million here. We do what we call a mayor's trophy to get youths engaged more in sports, and we try to get corporate sponsorship to give them prizes. In terms of women, the Women's Council initiated a $100 million fund, revolving fund, to help women in business. You have seen our cold storage in the market, and we are looking at how to proliferate that all over the municipality. And we are doing a lot of support for women's gardens through borehole systems and solar borehole systems all throughout, and also building the fences around to keep the animals from eating their produce. In terms of enforcement, we have increased the municipal police with 134 new officers. We have initiated the first ever bylaws for our municipality, comprehensive bylaws, and we have formed an anti-littering unit. Now, major challenges. The major challenges in our municipality and flashpoints are the Bakote dump site. I think everybody knows. We don't want a dump site in the middle of town, and it's high time that it is moved outside of town. The Kotu stream also poses a lot of risk to our people. flood risk, and there's talks with World Bank now to how to canalize it properly. Serakunda market congestion is always a worry for us in case fires, etc., do occur. Another challenge in KMC is housing pressures. Many people want to live here, but there's not enough accommodation, so rental prices are skyrocketing. And people are now settling illegally all over the municipality, especially Ibo Town. Another challenge we have is our road and drainage system. Lack of roads, lack of drainage makes getting up and down in the municipality very difficult. Now, the sweetest part, challenges we have with government. So we have a lot of challenges with government, as you have heard many times. And we have policy challenges, we have also cooperation issues. In terms of policy challenges, we have human resource challenges. Still, councils are not allowed to hire and fire. We cannot get people we want to work for us. We cannot source for the best talent. And we cannot get rid of people that are not working and are ineffective. They have come up with a system during the former regime called the Local Government Service Commission or the Unified Local Government Service Commission, which is given that responsibility of hiring and firing on behalf of councils. The Local Government Service Commission is appointed by the minister, and of course he uses his influence to see his way. So our establishment and appointment committee are only allowed to recommend to that commission. Of course, this brings major issues, especially when the politics is not going, is not uniform. We have these back and forths. So we have to make do with what we have. In terms of challenges with land use, planning, zoning, these are all responsibilities still with the central government. So there's little a municipality can do if you cannot control the land within your jurisdiction. If we want to create a park, we have to go beg and ask the ministry to allocate us land. Even lands that are already in our use, such as markets, you wouldn't believe we don't have the leases for them. We are still trying to get leases for those lands, 3 years now in office. Also, we have issues in terms of a lot of mechanics within our municipality, second-hand cars, derelict vehicles, importation of second-hand goods such as tires, etc., which are essentially waste. They come into this country almost scrap, and once they use it for a few months, they throw it all over the place. That's why our municipality is full of derelict vehicles, car tires, waste all over the place. We have asked the government, even parliament, to come up with policies and laws that control what comes into this country. I have directly asked the president, even in a meeting long ago. We also have challenges in terms of property valuation. Still, property valuation is centered in the Ministry of Lands. They have what they call a chief valuation officer. So the last valuation was done in 2005, the last valuation roll. To date, it is just sort of makeshift, but really authority doesn't lie with us. It lies with the chief valuation officer. We believe all those functions should be decentralized. There's also a lot of confusion about anti-littering, the anti-littering law, and I understand there's a draft waste management bill in Parliament that they're looking to pass. But there's a lot of confusion. Who's responsible? Is it NEA? Is it council? So sometimes charging culprits can be very difficult. Of course, we also have border issues with our neighboring municipalities. Banjul, of course, is simple. There's a bridge. But with West Coast, there's a lot of challenges in many areas. Where is KMC? Where is West Coast? And the Lands Ministry seems unable to determine or unwilling to clear up those border issues. So we would like, when you're in office, so there's clarity. I think all over the world, you know when you're entering a town, you know when you're leaving a town. We also have been appealing for decentralization of government revenues. Some are billboards, hotel licenses. Hotel licenses are no longer paid to councils, they are paid to GTB since its creation. And they sometimes tell us we have no business in the TDA. So that is sort of a jurisdiction within a jurisdiction. That's in terms of policies, some of the things I have thought about. I'm sure the councillors are annoyed that maybe I did not put their gratuities there, councillors' gratuities, etc. So these are things we've been advocating now for the past 3 years, via letters, via meetings, via going to parliament, but there's been no motion. On terms of cooperation or lack thereof, subventions which are already in the law, we are not getting. After we've complained severally, now they give us $2 million a year. So subventions are supposed to be 25% of your development budget. KMC, that means that should be around 47 million this year. But now they're only giving us $2 million. Our staff bill alone is about 6 million a month. So that cannot really do anything for us. Another area is we came up with a concept called Car City. And I think I was at the bureau even when I was talking with the ministry and they said they are not going to approve it. I think I was in a meeting, at an executive meeting, and I stood aside and I was arguing. But Car City was a concept that we wanted to take a large chunk of land, which was in Abuko, develop it into several lots, and push all mechanics and car salespersons there so they can leave our major highways and our communities. And they told us they have other plans for the land. So that's dead as far as for now, or shelved. We have 6 months to revitalize it. So another one is the affordable housing concept. We identified the Kotu Kware as an area that if it was allocated, because now it's just a dump site, if it was allocated to us, we can come up with a PPP concept, we can come up with a RFP to invite developers to come up with an affordable housing concept. So places like Ibo Town, if you are going to demolish areas that should not be built on, you have a place where you can offer people or take people. So right now what's happening is they're taking garbage, pushing it into the river, creating land, and building their houses on that. So that is a crisis around the riverine areas of Ibo Town, Talinding, Abuko, Fajikunda. Another concept, so this is not a concept, this is a request we've been pushing for, and I mentioned it, was an allocation of a landfill in the greater Banjul area, where Banjul, Birkama, and KMC can share. And we have been literally now almost to our knees begging for land where we can sort of take the waste and hopefully engage private sector players who want to develop landfill, and we would even pay to dump there because Bakote has rich capacity. To date, Birkama Area Council is also dumping in Bakote dump site because there are communities of Sukuta, Kirsering, Bijulo, surrounding communities are closer to KMC than they are to Tamanna, and those are large communities, and they are all dumping in KMC. Just last week, they asked for a waiver on some of the bills, and we accepted. But the dump site is reaching critical mass. Now that we also have the compactor trucks, waste that was otherwise thrown all over the municipality is mostly now centralized in one area. Bakote used to be a 30-meter deep quarry. Now it is almost a 5-meter high pile, and it is getting higher and higher every day. 500 tons of waste a day is making it to the Bakote dump site. So you will go see what beauties you will find there later. So I think this is a real snapshot of most things we are working on. I'm sure maybe councillors have 1 or 2 things maybe I forgot, but I think this is really generally most of the things we've been working on since we came into office. Thank you.
Probably. That the council would make a documentary on this so that the ordinary residents of
Canfield municipality do not know. In fact, I don't know all these things. And it is worth the while that the public knows these things. I'm very enthused about how you go about getting grants, of such huge sums. Well, in terms of council, such huge sums of money, which ordinarily one would have expected to be coming from the central government. But then have other institutions giving this support. Nobody knowing about it. I think it is time that it's not blowing our own trumpet, but it's time that the people of this municipality know what their elected councillors are doing, and it could also be some kind of encouragement for others. Well, not encouragement, but then suggestions indirectly to other councils to really see how they could access funds and resources for the development of their jurisdiction. Unfortunately, we do not have the required support, from government, and I'm not sure how much of this has gone to the Select Committee on Regional Administration, IEC, and Human Rights. I don't know how much of this has gone there, or how much of your complaints have reached these people. Because the only one that I think I know that the National Assembly members have been talking about is relating to your subvention, that the financial statements are not forthcoming. That is to say, you have been blamed for really not meeting up not fulfilling their criteria, which really coming on the floor of the National Assembly could put not only this council but all other councils in a bad light. But these very positive, developments in this within this council, I think these need to be made public, and just don't have to. We have to organize a way how to make really this public. Congratulations! I think we really. I'm sure when the residents of this municipality, if they know this, they will say that we do not regret for really electing these people to mind the affairs of the council. Oh, that's really great.
Well, that way, I can only congratulate you.
Yeah.
What you're doing in the council. It's like, frankly, outside, many of us didn't really know magnitude and quality of life services. The council like this over years. It's a huge achievement. Forgive me if I explain it a little bit. We're proud of the leadership of the
That's why we want it to be publicized.
that has transformed the council so tremendously in terms of capacity and the delivery of services over the years. And it must be commended. Well done. I think we work put up over things that you face in terms of dealing with the central government, but the enormity of the task, and also to show that this is a microcosm of what they will see if the UDP is elected, if the UDP constitutes the government. It's very impressive, and not only for folks from the UDP, in a relatively short period of time, and it would have been if you had a central government that cooperated, because the ideas relating to maternity health, environment, and putting youth to work, and all of these are things that are very innovative and and also show that once we have a national government that's constituted by the UDP, things could only get much better. And it's also something that should be a model for other regional governments to see what you're doing and learn from it. We thank you so much. And at least the media community will be very glad to work with you to showcase your achievements.
Thank you. I want to add my voice to say thank you to the Mayor and his able team for the remarkable sort of effort they are making to improve the living condition of this municipality. It may interest you to know that, well, I was the executive officer in 1974 for 1 year. Yes. I came from Kuntal. I was dismissed on political. So I had an idea, but what KMC was, what the KUDC, it used to be called the KUDC, Kanifing Urban District Council. What it was and what it is today, the change is just marvelous. I commend you, and you are making remarkable progress. So it is very unfortunate the government is reluctant to ensure that the is really improved. They are trying to sabotage this thing, because when I was there, we used to have a subvention every year. Every council is accessible to subvention. So they are denying you that. That's a sabotage on the side of the government, to deny people development. It's very unfortunate, but we only hope and pray that, well, the system changes, that we emerge victorious when things will take their correction, inshallah. So I think one should advise the interim president to come and learn about legacy, what it looks like. The KMC, you've come to know what legacy is. I'm very much impressed with the marvelous development. The office building you're making here, it's really marvelous. We commend you and your able staff. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I think I like everyone else, I share similar sentiments. Very impressive. I just wanted to find out, you were talking about the quarry, the dump site, sorry. And I wanted to find out whether there are plans for having a recycling plant, whether it exists. And if it doesn't, are there plans for that using what is being dumped there that can be used? I mean, you talked about a lot of tires around. Can they be used for recycling? And get the youths to come up with innovative ways of doing those, of doing that. I think the other question I wanted to ask also was on the councillors. You said you had 19 elected and 17 nominated, or 7 nominated. Balances of those nominated and not, and the rationale. And on the ghost workers also, what have you been able to achieve? You mentioned that I think there were about 800 and something initially, and then it's increased to 1,000 and something. So has it increased? Has it decreased? Are there still ghost workers? And how does that fit in with the central government's power or role of recruiting, being responsible for the recruitment? Are they still throwing, just any excess individuals in there to work with you? And how are you coping with that? But very, very impressive. I hope that at some point in the Bakau Fajara area that there will be a lot of more work done there, especially on the roads, on the bin collections, or finding a way of getting communities to come together to develop their roads. I think there are certain areas that you can get people to come in, chip in, and put like tar roads, or just walk on it rather than every rainy season you get one individual piling stones in where there are potholes. I think it would be good to come up with an incentive where the community start taking responsibility for it rather than expecting always the municipality and the government to do that. So those were the questions. But like I said, very impressive, and keep up the good work. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. I think these are very good questions. I'll keep it short. Backwater dump site, yes. The idea was to turn it into a transfer station. So usually landfills are very far from communities or your city, and it would be not effective to be transporting waste on a daily basis all the way to the landfill. So usually what's more cost effective and what usually happens around the world is there's something they call transfer stations. Transfer stations have recycling centers and they sort the waste. Tires go one area, paper goes one area, metals goes one area, and the things then you can't recycle, that's what actually goes to the landfill. So what we were conceiving was how do we turn Bakote dump site into a large-scale recycling facility. But this is a project beyond the municipality. It's going to cost millions of dollars, maybe tens of millions of dollars to actually implement it. So we were hoping the National Environmental Agency or the Ministry of Environment, who actually in the law have this mandate. Just yesterday we had a debate in General Council. And in actuality, when you look at the laws, the acts, the Ministry of Environment, this is their mandate. But you'd be surprised. I have never received any engagement from the minister or the NEA about the dump site. Even when they turn on fire, I've never physically seen any of them. We are left to deal with it with the fire service. So the only central government player as far as the dump site is concerned is the fire service. And we thank them. They're really effective and they respond very well. Now, in terms of what has happened in the past, this council has been always shopping around for what solution do we bring to Bakote dump site. When we came into office, the first thing that was floated around was waste to energy. But then we hit roadblocks with NAWEC. They said it was not in their plans. At one point, they said they're not interested. At another point, they pushed us to central government. But we had several companies that we did our due diligence on, who were ready to go. But NAWEC was not playing ball. We assume this is because central government wasn't interested. However, they tried to push a player to us once upon a time called Continental. And what happened was the company ended up not being a legitimate player. Now, we also floated an EOI, expression of interest, on people who might be interested in bringing a solution to Bakote dump site. 6 of them were waste to energy. One was biogas. And we said, since we cannot go the waste to energy route, let's entertain the biogas route. We gave it to a company called TRISP and was approved by GPPA. But TRISP ended up not being able to come up with the funds. They used COVID as the reason for not being able to come up with the funds. So that fell by the way. So now what we are doing is, because we've had this BMZ project, we're using it as a platform to apply through the German government for more funding and grant. So GPOL will probably need your services to help us get a bigger grant for a large-scale recycling facility. But this will not work if we don't have a landfill, because if you don't have a place to take the things you don't need, then there's no point. So we hope that can be solved soon. Now, gender balance in our council is very bad. It's one of the worst, I think. We only have one elected female councillor, which is Binta Jane of Bakau Newtown. But don't blame us, blame the party or the politicians. So, but I think it's because a lot of women were not bringing themselves forward as candidates. So she's the nominations, you can blame me. We have 7 nominated, only one is a woman, and I think it cannot be anything but a woman because it's the women's council representing women. So the rest are all male. However, we tried to bring a woman councillor once, but she wasn't interested. She turned it down. So I think the fault might be on both sides, but mainly because women are not putting themselves forward for these positions. I don't think it's intentional. I think it's just that they are not contesting. As mayor, when I was going through my primary at UDP, there was no woman who put herself forward. So, and when the election came, there was only one woman candidate, which was the Talinding lady, Fatima. So I don't think it is because the men are doing something. I think it's because women are not yet putting themselves forward. Exactly. Right. So ghost workers, when the council came into office, so our most potent committee is the establishment and appointment. Maybe because we have the most strong-headed councillors there. So they are really always looking at staff matters on a daily basis. Just yesterday, they discovered that 3 staffs are enjoying both pensions and a salary. Well, because of an anomaly. Yes, there was an anomaly somewhere where they were retired and then rehired. And that was not updated in the system. So
they were aware of it.
yes, so anyway, it's under investigation. It was yesterday during their deliberation that this is something they discovered and they are on the investigation. So the ghost workers don't exist anymore in KMC. We do have an issue of workers not reporting, and because the admin is not as effective as we want them to be, meaning they come, sign the attendance and disappear for the rest of the day, because a lot of these are field workers and you really have to have that monitoring capacity. So we've got report on all departments that these field workers, some of them are not reporting. And I think I had a meeting with the establishment committee on Monday, I think, and I asked them to look into this matter. But we don't have an issue of ghost workers. Now, recruitment, this is a good question. So the Local Government Service Commission did give us the power to recruit up to a certain grade. But these are all low-level employees, grade 6. So most of our hires are within this range. But when you come to the managers and the directors, which are actually the appointments with weight and that control the council, that's where the contention is. So most of the 396 people we have recruited are all these mostly on the lower end of the pay scale. Now, in terms of community development, actually Fajara have forwarded a proposal, the community of Fajara, they're calling themselves the Fajara Alliance, that they have come up with $7 million to build their roads, and they want to partner with council to develop the roads in Fajara. So of course the bill they put us is $50-something million. Council cannot invest that in one community alone. So what we did is we took the proposal, we also sent it to other stakeholders. We sent it to NRA, we've sent it to GAMWorks to see if they can also come on board, and then council can say we can do this or we can do that. But we've sent this, just the councillor of Bakau was here yesterday, Bakau Newton Binta, and she asked me, did you get any response from NRA? I told her no, because this letter was sent 1 month ago. So she was pretty upset that there was not even a feedback from these areas. So it's a good concept to get things going. One time we were looking at the option of copying the American model of encouraging neighborhood associations, and then they can be partnering with government and council. But to be honest, that community spirit in Gambia has disappeared for a long time because of the former regime and how it was. But it's just now starting again, and the councillors are doing a huge effort to get their communities interested. So in our street naming, they have all set up street naming committees, and these street naming committees, including the alcalos, are the ones actually naming their streets. So the stronger your councillors and their WDC, the easier it is to bring the community on board, and we are seeing that paying dividend. Yeah. Okay, when we came, we find out many ghost workers in the system. So what we do, we make it, we make a start on it. So every quarterly review, we realize something interesting. day before yesterday, I was telling the mayor, I told him that I think this scholar because we see some of these abnormalities. But the system is bad because we inherited a bad system. So, and it's very difficult at times when you come in terms of staff matters. The local government service commission is not supporting council. So that's our challenge. But we fight with them because it's like we are directly elected by the president. We do that.
And also the pensioners, the exercise we conduct.
Yeah. Check at the at the budget, we will realize that big chunk of money is paid to the pensioners, but in reality that is not happening. So what we do, we do audit exercise. We call them, even at times some of these old we told them, come on, you have to come because that's our rule. So but after realizing, we even find out that we are saving a lot of money, millions of dollars.
Almost half of the pensioners.
Yeah.
So because we said whosoever is a pensioner has to come and affirm with the council. If you are on mobile, let the HR manager visit you to your house. But someone has to be there. It's Mr. So, and he is alive and he is here.
Sure.
So most of them are not even coming anymore. So whosoever don't appear with, make a stop to their appearance to make sure, let them come.
So also one thing they found out that certain staff gave themselves a lot that they did not deserve, or it was not according to the criteria, and this was a big push and pull in council. So they discovered it, and they were like, no, every manager must have uniform allowances, every director must have it. So they were doing things like giving themselves risk allowance, transport allowance, housing allowance, and just blowing up their salary. So they've discovered a lot, and now they're working on a vehicle policy to guide how council vehicles are used. So when I came into office, the first thing I did as an example was I would park my vehicle here every day, and after they drop me, it comes back here. And I took that from you when you were vice president. Right. So since then, because now the mayor is not using his vehicle. Yes. So now when they develop a vehicle policy, it will help guide staff. Now we don't mind for staff that are directors or the deputy mayor to have that privilege. But I mean a manager taking a whole council vehicle home. We have council operations, and they say there's no vehicle. So they are working on that as well. So I think these are several policies they are working on.
We will present it to General Council next year.
These gross salaries, was it with the former regime or?
Yes, all was inherited.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you. I think, no, I was going to say, I think with the community, the reason why I was asking that, I was raising a similar issue of community development within the neighborhood of where I live, and that's where my parents live. And a lot of the people who live around there, most of the men have passed on. So it's just the wives. I call them the desperate housewives of Fajara, and they're elderly women. But none of them, all their children are out of the country. Some of them are not planning to come back. And, I was thinking of putting a tar road on that street, but not having any help or getting anybody involved, because all these, the wives are all pensioners and retired. What could be an incentive to do something there? Because you get people, some of them say, we are paying rates, we don't have electricity here, we don't get our dustbins collected, we are the ones who burn the grass on our main roads and so on. So what can be done for them to realize that they are supposed to pay their rates, and what can we do as a community and work together with the municipality to ensure that we take responsibility, but also work with the council for that. But like I said, our own neighborhood, most of the people who own those places are.
So KMC also has this issue of most houses you see and properties, the homeowner is not there. A lot of people, not most, a lot of people are renting now in KMC. So managing the municipality or getting that community ownership can be difficult sometimes. And also the rates are not coming as they should. Most of our rates are coming from industry and hotels, but residential rates, the compliance is the lowest. And one of the most difficult things is because identification of property owners. So we don't have an addressing system. So everybody may know where an Osenu Dabo lives, but if you start using generic names like Lamin Sise or a name that, then you get lost. So it becomes very difficult, just like when you're finding directions, it's the same with rates. So the compliance with residential is very low. And we did a study. If we had full compliance of all residences within KMC, we would generate $770 million in rates alone per year. So that study was conducted. So you remember when I was campaigning, I used to say KMC can make $1 billion. And they said, what is this small boy talking about? But it's because I had some inside information about the potential of the municipality. So the revenue base is up to $1 billion. But what is actually collected is where the problem is. And where there's collection, the leakage. The leakage. So another thing is the establishment. All councillors really, we've done a good job in a zero corruption municipality. Not that we are saying that it's completely out, but they know if we catch you, you're gone. Nobody can save you. And we've got rid of many, many staff on that basis. Right? You get red-handed, you're finished. We investigate, find evidence, and you're going. So in that sense, we have helped to plug some of the gaps, but not all. So we have revenue losses in lack of collection, leakages, which is a lot. But we also have wastage in procurement. And we have a contracts committee who's taking care of the big ones. I, as mayor, anything over 100,000, I approve. But still, there's challenges around that, right? So I think these are the things really with revenue. But if we could somehow capture our revenue, development becomes way faster and easier. Yes. Sorry, Councillor Karamo Sise is the chairman of our finance committee. He's the chairman of our revenue committee. He's the vice chairman of our accounts committee. So he's the super councillor. Yes.
Most of our revenues have been eroded, have been snatched away from us. Now revenue is stagnant. Mention again, we find out that most of the assets that we procure, at times the previous ones are not being seen. Some of the staff, they take it and so now whatever they have and track that assets wherever the assets may be. Just to cut the long story short, I want like the party leader to consider some of the councillors or all the councillors. Right now, the politics of the party is in our hands at the world level and so on because we are more closer to the grassroots. People like Bajungung and then Basiru, they are too old, in fact, to contest for next election. Yeah. So yeah. And then the other issue to the graduate, people like us, we have to sacrifice our job to contest for the party for a month without then councillor for a 1 term or 2, there is no gratuity for you. It will be very difficult. We don't want to be, we see some politicians whom they were councillors then, but now they are destitute. You will meet with them at the streets, they will start begging you. So if our yes, yes, in case if our government came into being, we can consider gratuity for councillors. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Good morning. That of Deputy Party Leader and the entire executive. I would like to join the Lord Mayor and that of my colleagues here to say we are indeed very much excited to have you here at Council Just to add a few things, that is to say that the engine of this KMC that is moving the works that we are doing is spearheaded by the councillors of UDP. I mean the committees. I serve as the chairman of the Mbalit project. You have the Karamo Sise, who is the finance chair. You have Habib Sise, appointment and establishment. You have Lamin Jamme, markets committee chair. You have Lamin Diva, environment and health, and other committees. So meaning we are proud that Lord Mayor has entrusted us this. So I just want to add that to say to it that the level that we've reached at this point in time is because of UDP councillors are doing a tremendous work. So thank you.
Is the councillor Habib? Well, I believe Karama has really raised some very pertinent issue. We do not want our elected officials to retire in poverty, whether they are members of National Assembly or councillors. Certainly, when one does service to your nation and you have to leave on account of old age or some other reason, then the service that you have rendered to the nation, or in this, and in your own case, to the municipality, should really not be forgotten. Yes, I am aware that there are no salaries paid to the councillors, but these are issues that we as a party will address when we're in government. Yeah? Because if you want to entice young people into politics, if you want to entice women, if I entice people to join politics, there has to be a future in it. Yeah? It's just, you have, in the first place, you probably taking a risk, like he has taken a risk. Yeah? Put aside his business to come and run for mayor. You know? God knows what is happening to that business now. You know? But then you don't have to retire to a state of uncertainty. At least one has to live in dignity. It's really, I think sometimes it's heart aching. I saw a former majority leader here at this garage here, hustling to get on transport. It's someone I knew, my koto, and I just sent my driver to say that he should really wait, and I'll drive him wherever he wanted to go. I didn't think that was really very dignified. Majority leader of a National Assembly across the border, they will live like as if still a member of the National Assembly. The same should happen to all. The same should happen to all elective offices. But then, when we come in as a government, these are issues we address, so that you do not only attract young people, but very competent. Because it is one thing having people elected offices, and another thing having competent people and committed people to elected offices. And it is those incentives that really would help you quality of people of quality to hold our elective offices. But I must once again say that certainly you share the same vision, because it's the vision that the mayor has brought to the councillors, and it's the vision of a UDP vision of what we would want to see our councils do. So we are right that the local government, the councillors, the politics, the party politics, you are in charge. Our party successes of contest will depend to some extent, in fact to a large extent, on what you do, how you've been handling the affairs of your wards. And I think I had a meeting with you, and I said, look, we shouldn't look at these elections as election for the National Assembly member or for the president, but your own re-election also, because if you ensure that your support base is kept intact at ward level, I think that will translate to the constituency level and ultimately to the national level. So, I think for Basiru and Junkung, maybe the decision will really be theirs, Yes, yes, the decision should be theirs to say, look, okay, I think we have done it, or at least achieved and to serve in the council, because I know Junkung has made several attempts to come to the council. Yes, this is NCP, and he has never retreated. When the results are announced, he is declared the loser. He starts his campaign again. So yes, so maybe for him it will be, look, I have achieved my objective. Maybe I want to leave. It could be. So he may continue to be the grand lion, just as Ted Kennedy, as old as he was, just as he continued to be in the Senate, when the grandpa. But then these are issues that really can be discussed upon, when the term, when your terms are coming to an end. But one thing I want to say is that the success of your mayor depends on how much you be giving him the maximum operation. There should be no room for petty rivalries that would impede the progress of this council. We can see how vision that your mayor has, the vision that our mayor has of our municipality, and his should be you. Others, councillors also, they would need their support, but yours should be taken for granted, and there should not be any reason why he would face obstacles and you being part of those obstacles. We can have our own in-house family, but that should never go outside the family circle. It must remain there, and we shouldn't allow opportunity to be given to any other group of people who will really undermine these very laudable efforts. If really the mayor and of course all of you together can tap resources to the tune of 800, is it 800? 800 million, 800 million, 800,000 euros. Yes, on the various sums.
Yeah, it's
that
1.6
you
million.
know, one, you know, and this is seen in tangible development or tangible advance. You can be sure that a request for 2 million euros will be favorably considered. And you have to make it easy for him. And I think we are doing that. Unearthing, for instance, this dubious malpractices, financial malpractices. You are a pensioner, you are receiving a salary and then also receiving a pension. I mean, the people should be embarrassed when they are told that this is what you have been doing is wrong. They should be embarrassed. But I think these are the things that you should do, continue to do, to help, make this council grow. So, really, really very proud of you, Mayor. But really very proud of you, and proud of you, the councillors, who stand by him, who are supporting him, and you've been given, I think, most committees, heading the most important committees, and some of the committees can also be very controversial, like the market committee, because I know that, because I know that, because of one or two issues that have come to my knowledge, so it can be very controversial, and that is an area where allegations, are easily made against the members of the committee. But thank you very much, Lord Mayor.
I think now we want to do a small tour for you. Yes. Thank you so much.
Off-camera question. Are you allowed to oversee a neighboring region like West Coast? Like West
Yeah. Yes.
Are you still using Jalama? Not many people are calling you Jalama. Yes, we must tell them that thank you.
Oh, well done, well done. Thank you very much.
All back of Sweden.
Wow. A lot of progress has been made around here. You can see what the Lord Mayor of KMC, Talib Ahmed Bensouda, has diluted on what he has done for this community, or what he's ready to do for this community, the challenges, the progress, and all these things. I think he has done tremendous, and his council, General Council, we respect them for the good job they did. And rightly, what the party leader said, we applauding them for a good job. Actually, they deserve every respect and a big round of applause at any moment. Yeah. Yeah. See, some of the could remember he made a walking visit to Australia. Yes. Again. Akira Farmer. Yeah.
So I'm going to show him where we sit right now, and then we'll go to yeah, we just
We're walking, so they don't get in the car.
well, now you're going to come to the back. Okay, no problem. We're just going to go around. Let me show you.
Lord, I think you should have the mic because you will be explaining some things.
Yes. So this is the old administrative building. Yes. Partly demolished.
Barbujo, touch land way.
Huh? Yeah, so this used to be a doorway to the court. You see the doorway is right there. Yes. That's good. That's good. That's good. So this is the mosque. Morning, Move. How are you? Deputy Commissioner, Move. Yes. So this is the current council chambers. Yes. Oh, Tan? Yeah.
Will you still use this as chambers?
No, so this we intend to use it as a meeting room with the public. Okay. Yeah. And various other multi-purpose. Yes. But the chambers, we want to maintain it as the chambers. So only councillors sit there, just like the parliament. But right now here, the councillors sit there. But when we have events also, we use it. Yes. We can take a look inside. Trying to revive it. Yes. So this is the office of the clerk. So that's Usman Gay. That's Mr. Modu Gay. He's an expert on our establishment committee. So he's an HR expert. So he volunteers on our establishment committee. There's another step here. This is our parliament. So the councillors sit around here. No, the council meetings are on their tags will be on the desk. Yes. So the mayor sits in the middle, the CEO on my left, and the deputy mayor on my right, and the clerk sits here, and the council lawyer sits there. In case we try to make illegal laws, they stop us. The former Jallo, Keba Jallo Ablai Conte. Yes. And Bakari as the interim chair. Yes. We honored him. Yes. Right. Yes. Oh, we have a special visitor for you. Is Peter, PDOIS of Kololi. He's the councillor of Kololi. Also a member of the establishment. Yes, but he's half caste. He's UDP half because he likes us. Yes, so during meetings, the directors sit at the back. Yes, and the press, if they do come, they sit in this area. Yes. So nobody is allowed to speak except the mayor and the councillors, unless you are called upon.
Okay.
Yes. So that's how it is. Yeah.
So they are all ex-officio members. They
No.
come in and not speak on.
Yes, so they are allowed in as technical expertise, but they can only talk if I call upon them. Yeah. But they cannot share their questions. I think like
Any plans to
revitalize it. We can.
it's still relevant?
It can as a council resolution.
Okay.
So we have a new slogan called KMC for you, which is service delivery. And we've brought a slogan for the city called Heartbeat of the Gambia. So we say this is the center of things. Very sparse, mostly in Abuko. But government claims it's for this, it's for that. It's unused anyway, you can change it. So Abuko has vast lands, which is under Gambia livestock. No, I don't know the dimensions.
To actually remove the situations.
Yeah.
Maybe if we go to CRR or, West Coast. What
In KMC, you literally have to build up.
Yes.
Yes.
If that is a possibility.
So this is where everybody is now, but we plan to move everybody here. So this should be ready in July. Pardon? No, it should be before. It should be before.
So that's
Next 2 months maybe. Yeah, it is. It is the biggest building out of the three. Astaghfirullah. His birthday was slowly. Lamin drame. Chikanama. Okay, kon ñu awé ni. Wande council hall bangi ubi ah. I created. So when they come for me in front, I can escape here. On the back door. There's something at the top. So I think we can start at my office then come down. We go upstairs. Rami? No, dama exiko mo. So this is Lamin Drame, you recognize him. He's our Latrikunda Sabeji campaign manager and also the building supervisor. Pardon? Ah, Lamin Mane, okay. Okay. Right. Right. No, so when they were building this, they did not cater for that. So I was asking for an elevator, nothing. So that's why I said it was planned before we came in. So I would have to go down to meet them if they came up. So this is the mayor's office. So this is the conference room. So it's a very nice view. Yeah.
Nice view.
Yeah. Yeah. This is the mayor's office, huh? Oh, this is the director of planning and development, Nima Kamara.
Hello, sir.
Yeah, so she's in charge of the show. Now you see, women are, so the CEO is a woman, and the director of planning is a woman. So
Hello, sir.
you're in charge, yes.
We're
Yes.
pleased to have you here. You're all welcome.
So this is the mayor's office.
Everything to be for you?
Hey, I didn't design it. So you come out here, that's the secretary. The secretary. Yes, this is the secretary. This is a lobby, waiting area. And these are offices, different units. I think the GIS will move here. So the areas that I'm very, very interested in, I want them around me. I can easily, yes. So these are all different offices. So, yes, so this is the third floor. There's two other floors. So you can see so you'll see the old council building from here.
What is being done about safety and security?
Yes, so we are going to look
the
at
windows seem
a little low. Yes. It was designed this way. Yes.
In terms of the design,
Probably a or a railing.
Normally at this stage, you wouldn't even have a window.
Or we can install railings. Yeah, it's a big office. This is the State House of KMC. But I don't think there's access. She's not well. Again.
The first one, she just isolated. But yesterday, we on our platform, we got a message.
That's sad. Oh, she didn't tell me. That's why I haven't heard from her in a while.
Yeah, I just saw it. Actually, I responded this morning.
Oh.
So,
That's unfortunate.
But I see some offices also in other countries. They use it as the staff canteen right at the top.
Okay.
Where people go and that's where they have their meals and relax.
Right.
Recreation as well.
Right. So we will install railings. It's just so. Huh? Yes. No. So where we can hold our symposiums, or we can be holding cocktails and inviting business communities and stuff.
I'm terrified of No, I don't do heights.
Yeah, so you can see everything. Huh? Yes, this is another escape area. And I'll hide when they come for me. Honorable.
Italy, yes. 5 o'clock, okay. Let me just tell him that. Because I thought that I'll put up so he will transmit that to them.
Yeah. So they built it without a lift. No, so all disabled people, I have to meet them downstairs. Yeah, man, it's they did not plan it. Or you? Yeah, maybe we can do that. We can do that after a while. Yeah. This is the second floor, Lamin, huh? Okay, this is the second floor. I think the server room is here. Finance will be here. Administration will be here. So is on the ground floor with the deputy mayor. Yes. So all the offices are decent size, but it's not. They can hold multiple people, 2, 3 people. Yeah. So the building is largely finished. I think it's just the size. Nima, you should be the one talking. I'm just making up stuff. All right. So he's suggesting we should install an elevator in the future on the side of the building.
So when we're thinking about this, we're thinking where the staircase is, so the layers will be, the landings will be where they can get up.
Okay.
On the first floor, on the second floor, on the third.
Okay.
So what is that under project cost? So
we have to do it after. For elevators on the side.
Can be attached at the back, where the landings are, so they can access all the
because the wheelchair people cannot access.